Welcome to episode 29 of the Offshore Accountant podcast. In this episode, we'll be talking about how you can add advisory services to your current offering and utilize softwares like Spotlight Reporting to do just that. And to help us with that, I have got Melanie Rollerson, who is a chartered accountant based in the UK. Hi, Mel. Welcome again to the Offshore Accountant podcast.
Hi, Sushil. Thank you very much. Great to be here today, and thank you for inviting me back.
No, it's always a pleasure. So, for those who have not got introduced to you, would you like to give a brief about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I am an accountant, as you said. So I qualified at KPMG a good 20 years ago. And from there, I went into industry for a bit and did some finance roles. And then I set up my own practice. So I did run my own accountancy firm for 13 years. Just as soon as COVID hit, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I can't cope with all these new rules and regs, and it was all very stressful. And I decided to sell my firm. So I successfully sold it in the middle of COVID, and it was all very stressful. But then launched into tech, because tech has always been absolutely one of my passions. And I've seen it change so much from when I first had my firm to obviously where we are today.
Mhm.
So I've worked for a few firms in accountancy tech specifically since
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
And for the last 2.5 years, I've been at Spotlight Reporting, which has been fascinating,
Yeah.
mainly because I've been talking to accountants all over the world. And my role there is customer success. So I look after lots and lots of accountants who from the one-man band type to the very, very big, the big five. And I talk to them about how to launch into advisory. So everybody has a different way of doing so. And that's what I do now. And I've just stepped back, so I'm doing that part time. And I'm doing my own stuff in the background as well. So yeah, all busy. But my
Yeah.
passion is advisory and tech and helping small businesses. Yeah,
Right.
using.
So a lot of accounting firms today want to move to advisory, right? Business advisory. But what exactly is business advisory, and how is it different from the work that they have been doing currently, the legacy work that they've been doing?
Yeah, great question. I've got some slides that I have prepared. Let me just get them up. Yeah, I mean, business advisory, it's one of those buzzwords, isn't it, in accountancy at the moment, and it has been for a long time. I've just put on here, it's anything that's not compliant. The typical accountant, certainly when I had my own practice, I was doing tax returns, limited company accounts, I was dealing with deadlines from all the different regulations, HMRC over here in the UK. I was dealing with VAT returns, payroll, all of those things. Yeah, it's all great, and bookkeeping, and it's just anything that's not that is, I would say, advisory. So um, the juicy work, as I've said here. So I think advisory it is being enabled, and people are able to do it more because of all of the tech that's now available to clients and to accountants. So, if accounts and bank statements are reconciled on a monthly basis and the data is more real time, then you can actually get into the juicy work. And this is where the advisory is. So it's where you will produce real time reports. So reports on monthly management accounts, cash flow forecasts, looking at KPIs and looking at actually what drives that business. So, what is it? What creates more profit for that business, and what creates more cash for that business, and what little tweaks can that SME make to actually improve all of those things. So yeah, it's really the real time data, which is now amongst us everywhere. I mean, I remember when I started out and I had paper bags and shoeboxes full of receipts, and there's no way in a million years you'd be able to create anything meaningful for your clients out of that. It's all, it was all very backward looking. So the really juicy work is able to use that data that you've got now, make sure it's correct, first of all, and then educate the clients on it, because a lot of clients, well, I'd say 99% of clients that I'm talking about here don't really understand their business numbers particularly well. They might have just started a business because they had a brilliant idea to create, I don't know, create something and sell it on Amazon, and it just rockets. and they don't really understand why and how, don't have a plan in place to grow that business and not run out of cash when they need more stock, etc., etc. It's all about how to actually talk to the client a lot more, how
Mm.
to educate the client on real-time data, and how to highlight to them what are their drivers, and then in an ideal world, how to then work with them to create an action plan to help them grow. So
Yeah.
it's a bit like being their CFO, strategic CFO. And a lot of these SMEs can't afford a full-time CFO, so they might just want
Right.
some, you know, half a day a month. It's really, but they can get that through their accountant now, which is really powerful.
Yeah, so an accountant is moving from being a at the end of the year or period filing taxes or filing returns role to becoming a business partner in essence,
So
helping drive business and helping drive profits and also helping set the future direction for the business as well.
totally, yeah, totally, absolutely, and I think that's really, really exciting, because it's certainly much more exciting than the work that I was doing for my clients back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually being able to work with the smaller clients, and they're the ones that really need it, the
Mm.
ones that really got a finance department, and can really, you can really interpret their data and help them survive, because not many SMEs survive that start out.
So
So
can I also say that the accountants are moving from being accountants, the keeper of books, keeper of records, to being a finance professional where they are helping with financial aspects of the business as well.
definitely, yes, definitely. I mean, yeah, it goes without saying. Just being instead of just looking at backward data, and like you say, being the ones that keep the regulators, keep the companies and their clients legal, and not worry about being sent to get brown envelopes with fines in. That's basically how we
Mm.
used to work. You're actually working with the business owners, learning about them, and building up great relationships with them, and helping them to grow. Um, so lots of opportunities in the accountancy world, but you have to make sure that the tech stack is in place, both externally for your firm and for your client, in order to get that real time data, and then you can then work with them. So what I thought I would do today, if you'd be interested, is just take you into a quick overview of what Spotlight reporting is. I have got an account open that I can show you in a second, and just run you through how you can do business advisory using cloud software. Okay, can you see Spotlight reporting now?
Yes.
Excellent. This is basic. I don't know if you've ever seen Spotlight reporting before, Sushil, but this is basically where you land on Spotlight. So you log in, and you've got, it always works left to right. So you've got a few different products here at the top. You've got Spotlight reporting, you've got cash flow forecasting, dashboards, Multi, which is a huge consolidation tool, and Spotlight Sustain, which is for another time. That is all about ESG reporting, which is, again, another big theme that will be coming into the world. Well, it already is in the world in a lot of the jurisdictions. But yeah, carbon accounting and that sort of thing. But today, I haven't got time to go through all of those products. But today, I thought I'd just quickly take you through Spotlight reporting itself. And as you can see, it's very simple. You can add a client. So I'm going to take you into Bertie's Biscuits. And this is, let's hope it's all working. Yep. This is something that I'll just take you through. I've created this with fictional data, and Bertie is my dog. So yeah, just ignore the data. But just to
Yeah.
give you a brief run through. So all you do is you can import your data from, well, I've already got it connected into Xero. As you can see, it connects into QuickBooks, MYOB. I've got a Xero Practice Manager, but Google Analytics, Google Sheets, and then it also connects into some desktop apps. So we've got Sage 50, and QuickBooks Desktop and MYOB, and then you can also bring in data from Excel. So there's a few different ways of bringing data in. This client, as I said, is connected in using Xero, so I won't bother re-importing the data. I've already done that. And all you do is bring your data in, as you can see here. So I've got This is how the data appears, and it just automatically comes in here to this screen from Xero, depending on what you've got in Xero. So obviously you've reconciled all the accounts in Xero. So I'll just quickly show you, but I've got some revenue accounts here. So you can see I've got P&L at the start, cost of sales. So all you need to do here is just check the data has landed okay, and it's in the right accounts. You can see, and then it moves on to balance sheet accounts, as you can see, and some bank accounts and liabilities, equity. So the balance sheet has also got some KPIs and some non-financial data, which you can add in if you want to. So that would bring in another layer of data so that you can start analysing the client's non-financial stuff like customer satisfaction rating, sales conversion rates, utilisation rates, things like that, depending on the industry that your client is in. So you can add lots and lots of value there. But quite simply, go into customize layout here. I don't know if you've seen this before, but you can create templates. So you can see I've got lots of templates, and there already are lots of templates for different industries, which would give suggested KPIs for different industries. And you can quite simply see I've got quite a detail. Well, it looks like a detailed report, but it's all very easy. I can move pages around, show you. So, and it all looks very professional. So it will automatically populate all of these numbers. So I've got an executive summary here, and you can ask it to just populate what the gross profit for the month was compared to last month. You can see there's tags here, and it will give you the nice commentary there. You can put in some recommendations for action. There's also an action plan. So you can see here that you can assign different parts of the business to different people within your clients. So if you had David, who's in charge of strategy, you can tell him that he's got to finalize and publish the draft strategy and share it with the board. And it's due in December, and you drag this along. So, it's 80% complete, etc. That's quite nice. And I have also got the P&L. So obviously you can change you can change the rows and the columns, but you've got actual versus budget, and then you've got actual versus last year here, and you've got forward projections, and you can also see I've got some nice graphs that you can customize, and if I show you these, there's 1,000,001 different graphs and it automatically populates these, which look very professional. Yeah. So, and same for the balance sheet. So the idea is you sort of visualize the numbers for the client. So an example here is that I've got the balance sheets, which is obviously, a balance sheet is a balance sheet, isn't it? It's not really that easy and straightforward for non-accountants to understand. But what we've done here is create a pie chart of the balance sheet, which shows all of the assets in green and all of the liabilities in orange. So obviously, more green is good, and the darker the green, the more liquid the asset is. So a lot of our customers at Spotlight, everybody puts this pie chart in because it's a really nice one and easy for the client to understand. So I think the idea is that it just visualizes and makes the accounts come alive for the client. Another good example here is this cash movement summary, which basically you can choose the opening cash balance and the closing cash balance. So this client had £977,000 worth of cash at the beginning of April. And you can see here it automatically will tell you how much revenue has come in, so nearly £1,000,000, and then where costs have been spent. So cash has gone out for cost of sales for that much, overheads for that much, etc. And it takes you to your closing cash balance very nicely. So just quite a nice visualization of the actual management accounts, which can appear slightly slightly not so interesting if it's just all in black and white. The final page I'll show you is just some, you can add any non-financial KPIs. So I've added in customer satisfaction rating as a graph, website traffic, you can see that's going up, average revenue per customer, and number of new customers and how that's trending. So, yeah, any comments on any of that, Sushil?
So what I see is it always helps when you can tell a story from the data of your business, right? And
Yeah,
one of the beautiful things about telling a story is through charts and through visualization. So I can see how a business owner, from the perspective of business owner, they would be able to understand their business more better with those charts, like you saw about the cash flow, right? So
yeah, yeah,
you can actually
exactly.
see what chunk of the cash is coming from where, and where the business is losing a lot of money. So uh, it tends to tell a story very neatly there.
It does. You're quite right, and I think it actually for the business owner who's very stuck in the detail all the time, worried about whether they can pay the suppliers yet, and has that customer paid yet, etc. It really brings them out. It makes the business come alive, and they can see where they've been and where they're going to. And I think that's really nice. And this is just the management reporting side. And as you
Yeah,
can see, it produces this very nice looking report that it's just really simple to send over to the client,
yeah,
and to refresh each month. So yeah, and that's the beauty of tech. It's just I think
right.
it's really clever. Yeah, it's cool. A bit better than the black and white Excel management reports that I've done in the past for clients.
When I also look back to the conversations I have with my clients, there's this tendency of accountants to, because we know all about the data, right? So numbers speak to us. But when we are talking about those numbers, quite a lot of time, your clients do not understand what we are talking about, right? Because we just say this is not that. But when you can actually see uh, cost as a percentage, or as a chunk of or data, right? So there they can understand whether or not their business is doing great, right? When you can show your sales revenue, and when you can show your cost as a chunk of that thing, then they will understand that I might need to, squeeze that cost a little bit more, so that the final income that I can get is would be better.
Yes, exactly that. And also you can see trends, so
Mhm.
where was I with that cost as a percentage of revenue or whatever it is,
Yeah.
back in December, and where am I now and where do I want to
Mhm.
be? And and it's really, really powerful. And the other thing you do is compare yourself against other companies in the same industry and see other businesses in the same industry and see where you are.
Right.
And yeah, it's really, really powerful. And I think it's really nice to keep and help SMEs keep on track, with all of their expenses in these crazy days that we're living in.
Right.
Yeah.
And also other non-financial data, like the trend in the website traffic that you're getting, right? So your website traffic is increasing, and whether or not that increase is actually translating into increase in revenue for you as well. So you can actually
Yes.
see that
Yes.
dependence, or that relation there.
Exactly that. I mean, what you can do with Spotlight is you can bring in the Google Analytics data, and I would say most, if not all, of clients would have a website with some sort of Google Analytics login. But you can
Right.
bet your bottom dollar that nobody ever checks what their stats are on that, and what their website hits are, and even where the website hits are coming from. Are they from China? Are they from the US? Are they from? And you can bring all of that data in and bring in extra, I think it's 14 extra graphs, of just really interesting data for your client to see every month, that like you quite rightly say, you can track, and you can turn that into profit eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very useful item in this spotlight reporting dashboard, what I found is that you can bring in data from a lot of places.
Yes.
So there are accounting softwares that you usually use, but also when we are talking about the website data or some other data, you might have that in the form of Google Sheets or Excel. So you can also bring in those data from your Excel sheets as well. So
Yes.
of options and flexibility for someone working with the cloud or also working with uh, other desktop applications or working with Excel, so you can easily bring in data and help visualize.
You can, and actually, we've just added a Google Sheets import, which is really good because you
Yeah.
can quite cleverly you can update that, and your client can update that, and it's all live. And you can also get Zapier to bring in data from
Mm.
all sorts of different systems into Google Sheets, and then it will automatically upload into Spotlight, which is even cleverer. So you could
Mm.
ask for data to capture data from different CRM systems or wherever. So there's, if you set it up,
Right.
carefully, so it can be very, very powerful. Yeah,
And once you set up the report for one of your clients, and so the first time would be you'll be doing all of those things, right? Importing data and trying to connect with softwares. But once it is done, the next period you'll have it easy. All the data are configured. Now you only have to sort your data and your recommendations with the.
exactly that. Yeah. So once you've got what you can do is that, I mean, that's the example that I showed you. You could save that as a template, and then you could pick that template up with exactly the same graphs in it and the P&L in exactly the same format. You can pick that up for any client that you've got, and import their data into that template, and it will magically refresh it with the new data. And obviously, you'll customize it for the client. But yeah, it's a really very quick process once you've got going. So you can save a lot of time, and you can bill lots of revenue for it. So yeah, it's brilliant if you can get it going. I think it's very exciting.
And business advisory, this kind of service does actually help your clients increase their business, look at their costs, look at their revenue, and do things to change or improve their business. So they do appreciate it more than the compliance work. Yes, compliance it needs to be done.
Yeah,
It is recurring, but
yeah,
also uh, if you have business, if it is improving, then you have compliance also,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly that, Sushil. Yeah, I think that people now out there think that compliance work is, it has to be done, doesn't it? But they treat it more
Mhm.
like a commodity. People are
Yeah.
just, and they're asking for it to be cheaper and cheaper because they think it's all done by tech, and it's a really tough world to be in. But yeah, this advisory piece is quite valuable. Very
Right.
valuable. Get the hang of it. Yeah. And I've got some examples. Shall I show you? So, I mean, this is what people would normally do. And I'm not guaranteeing this is what you could definitely get, but
Mm.
what accountants moving into advisory generally do is set up 3 different tiers of advisory packages. So you would have like a monthly one-page report, which would be your bronze package, and people are charging around about the £150 in per month for one of those reports, and that would just be a one-pager report set up a bit like the one I just showed you, and it would just have some graphs on it, and you can add some commentary, and people, and it's just really for the very small clients who have never really seen advisory before, but who are interested to understand their numbers. So it's a great client education piece, and it starts to hook people in quite nicely. Um, and what accountants are doing is sending that out for free to start with. So they might choose 20 clients and go, right, it's not going to take me a lot of time or cost me a lot of money to actually produce this. So I'll send it out to 20 clients. And what they're doing is recording themselves on a Loom video, explaining each of the graphs and just saying, a bit like I just went through that report, spend a few minutes just saying, oh, give it the human touch. Your business is doing this, your trend is going upwards for gross profit or whatever. And that's that, and sending that across, that Loom video across with that PDF of that one-page advisory report, and for free to start with, and then as soon as people start perking up and really enjoying it, then you can say, well, if you want this going forwards, it's going to be £100 a month or £150 a month, and that does work. And then there's another level up, which would be the sort of report that I just showed you, people are charging £300 to £500 a month for one of those. Not overly long, but a monthly management report with all the KPIs in it that the client will want. And then the third level up from that for advisory would be a full-on cash flow forecast. So you can actually create, using Spotlight, you can create a three-way cash flow forecast. You can look at drivers and profit drivers. You can look at, basically you can set things up within the P&L and the balance sheet, which will then flow through to the cash flow. And you can report actuals against that. And you can look at tracking categories and all sorts of things. And people are charging anywhere up to £5,000 a month. I've got somebody in America charging a lot more than that. And you can also do consolidations with it. So if you've got a multi-entity client that you've never really, we've got a group cash flow statement now, and the multi-entity clients might not have ever seen what their group cash position is and how it's trended. So yeah, it's really powerful. So this is a totally new service offering that you've probably never thought of before. I mean, I've never thought of it when I was doing my compliance practice. So yeah.
And the strategy that you are giving also is quite brilliant, right? So you just give 1 month, you give a one pager to your clients, you record a Loom video, explain all those things, and if they appreciate it, if they want it going forward, then this is what we will be charging. Or you could also say, in the silver package, we also have these additional features that we'll do for you. Gold is this. So just record a video, do it one time for free, and then if they are interested, then they will come back, and you can actually help them understand the value in it with this one pager, and then they'll definitely become a client for these services as well.
Totally. And I think it sets you aside as an accountant that's doing something a bit different as well. There are so many accountants out there, and I've worked for many of them who are just churning out the compliance like we've been saying. So it does set you aside as a premium accountant, and that's brilliant that you can offer this additional service to and really help these SMEs to grow, which is very exciting. Yeah, I've got a couple more slides. That's just an idea of how much Spotlight reporting costs you as a firm. I'm not a salesperson. I just thought I'd put this on as a slide. For example, in the UK, if you want to put 20 clients on, it's going to cost you £295 a month. And if you do the maths on that and you're charging £150 a report minimum to your client, the ROI is huge. So yeah, and if you want to put 50 clients on, it's going to cost you £495 a month, and it goes up from there. So it's based on, but you can have as many users as you want. It's based on the number of clients you have on. Yeah.
Okay, so it's based on the number of clients, or is it also based on the number of reports you run?
No, it's the number of organisations, we call them. So entities you've got on there. It doesn't matter if you run 20 reports for one organisation in the same set of data. It's still only one organisation.
So if you are charging £150, your ROI is at minimum 10 times.
10 times, yeah. Yeah, absolutely that. So yeah, it's a bit of a no-brainer if you can get the monetization piece. If you get that bit working, it's a no-brainer. But you also have to think of it in terms of time savings, because I've heard people say to me that they used to do these massive consolidations on Excel, and when I've done that before, it takes forever. And then you put something into one cell, and you've broken a formula, and the balance sheet no longer balances, and all of that. You can now do that in tech, and just press run, and it will automatically consolidate up to 75 entities pretty instantly, and you can with all of it. So it huge amounts of time saving. A consolidation that used to take, say, 4 days would now take half a day. Yeah. So, so it's a double whammy, really. Yeah. Time saving and what you can charge your client.
Right.
Yeah.
a lot of time is actually taken in preparing the report, but with using cloud software such as Spotlight, it is the time is significantly saved because you don't have to do it again and again. For example, you are preparing a financial report, so you go in, you make the Excel sheet, you make adjustments, you try to figure out in your model where things are off. But here it's already pulled from your data, and now you can just the report also you have already, if you're doing it for the second time, first time you have already done the stuff that you want to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Time around it's just populating the data and running through and looking at it before giving in your recommendations and then sending it out. So not a lot of work to do every month.
Exactly that. And also I've had lots of people saying that it makes their work more interesting. It's keeping accountants you can train juniors to do this, and
Yeah.
it makes their life a lot more interesting than all of those old reconciliations that I used to do when I was a junior. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it makes it much more fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's which is great.
And interestingly, also the final report that you are preparing, let's say when you are preparing in an Excel sheet and the final report you actually give to your clients, right? Always off, right? The formatting, the graphs made, so it doesn't look too professional. So with this you do not have to worry about that as well. So
You
how polished the final product looks is also a part of the perceived value of the product as well.
Totally agree. Yeah. And if you can polish these, I mean, they do look very nice when they're complete. So yeah, it adds the value, definitely. Yeah, which is really exciting. So yeah, I've got one more slide. The other bits that you have to do for advisory, the advisory journey. Yeah. So in order to get all this in place, there's lots and lots of different tactics that everybody uses. So obviously, you need to have a tech stack in place. You have to have real time data that you can trust, because you can't report on stuff that is not right. Um, so having something like QuickBooks or Zero, Dex, all these sorts of things, all these other things I talk about in the background on LinkedIn and my YouTube channel, having all those practice efficiencies, Carbon, Pixie, having bookkeeping AI tools, all those sorts of things really, really help verify the data. And a lot of the customers I speak to at Spotlight are actually offering what they're calling a digital transformation service to their clients. So that's another service offering you can think of, either if you are skilled in doing it yourself and you know a lot about tech, or if you can partner with a consultant who is a digital transformation specialist, go into the client and go, okay, let's get rid of that filing cabinet. Let's put Dext in place. We don't need all of those invoices, etc., etc. Yeah, you can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be some quick wins for that client. So a lot of the firms that are doing this really successfully have got a digital transformation service set up for their clients to really help the clients to succeed. So that's another service offering that you could use. And then in the middle, I've got upskilling, collaborating, and partnering. So obviously, you don't want it to be the high value partner person that's just doing all these reports. It would be great if you could upskill your team members so that they can deliver the advisory meetings. I mean, advisory is slightly different to the normal accountancy. Yeah, so a normal accountant might have trained to be an accountant so they can sit behind a screen all day, and some people love doing Excel all day. It's very much not that. So there's all sorts of people out there that are training accountants to have confidence and to know how to deliver those advisory meetings, and how to speak to clients, and how to deliver their advisory KPIs to them. So that's the skill in itself.
Yeah.
So you really got to upskill your team members, give them confidence, and let them go out there, because we always say that the more times that you can talk to your client, the more you're going to learn from them, and the more they will succeed, the more you will succeed. So you've got to have the confidence to go out and do this. I find that accountants that do really well in advisory have niched in certain industries, because they will get to know the non-financial KPIs and that industry really super well. So got one customer that only deals with farming clients. I've got one customer that only deals with professional servicing clients, so they can understand how those clients, really succeed, and they can compare each client with each other without telling them. How they, and sort of get good ideas from them. And then, yeah, I've already said it really, but obviously it's very important to engage with all of your tech providers and to leverage any experts you have for any specialized services. I even, I'm now partnering with an ESG specialist, because that is a whole new ball game really to talk about. But yeah, there are people out there that are just living and breathing certain things. People are living and breathing ESG, tech, etc. Just get in with them and partner with them if your client needs that service, and you can then label it as an extra service if you can't do it yourself. And my final piece here is about how to market and sell advisory services, which again is a whole. I mean, I did a whole presentation on this last week, but I think somehow the hard bit is to get the small businesses, which are inherently short of cash, to actually see the value of it, and that's the hard bit. So, like the quick tactic I told you about earlier about giving away for free to start with a little video. That's a great way to highlight the value proposition of it. Um, Make sure you've got a website. And I speak to accountants that haven't even got advisory listed on their website. So on your website, list that you do advisory, and people will then reach out to you if they're on your website. Something simple like that. Do webinars on it and workshops on it, and you get a good client that's gone through a story, like you were saying. It tells a story. Do a case study with them and showcase that on LinkedIn. And then, yeah, the other thing that is quite a good idea is to offer a free, something like a business health check. So, I spoke to a guy in a bank the other day, and he'd got an amazing product which he's just about to launch, which is a 55 questions of questionnaire that any SME can answer. And at the end of it, it will outlay basically where they are, what their business is currently worth, where it could get to, from industry trends, and how, because every business needs to exit somehow, doesn't it? So yeah, how they can get out, which is quite interesting. So you can offer free resources like that to hook people in. And it goes without saying, partner with everybody that's in the same sort of space as you, with the same sort of clients. So lawyers, corporate finance boutiques, anybody that's got similar sort of clients, refer and refer away. Works really well. That's just a few tactics. There's lots of others.
So, get ready with everything you need, right? With your technology, with, upskilling your team as well, and also, how you can give value to your clients. So, if you're niching in a particular industry, then you will have more things to talk about to your clients, more information to give to them, more value to add, right? So, have everything ready, be more skilled, have more value to give, and then with marketing, help your clients understand the value that you will be able to provide. And then the cycle continues.
It does. And your work has become more rewarding. You're more engaged with your clients. Your clients are doing better. So it's just a win-win if you can get it working. I can't be more enthusiastic about it if I tried. So yeah.
Thank you, Mel, for that. And we also talked about having your own tech setup correctly as well. And we also talked in our last podcast about practice management software. So anyone who not looked at that, I'll link that in the description as well, so you can go ahead and see that podcast as well. You'll get a lot of good insights on how you can choose the right practice management software for you, and whether or not you need it, and how it can help you in your own accounting firm as well. So that was about the earlier podcast that we did. And also, when you are ready with your own setup, cloud accounting setup, tech setup, then you'll go ahead and help your clients with their tech setup as well. And then with the business advisory services, you'll give in valuable information monthly, quarterly, or when and if the clients need it.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So yeah, exciting times ahead for everyone that's listening. I think no harm in going for it. I always say just have the confidence and go for it.
Right. And these business advisory services are also tend to be quite niche. So not many accountants do that. So you are adding more value to your clients, and also with the value you are also charging a bit more than your compliance work. So this is also high margin work that you can do. So thinking about business advisory and how it can help you, how it can help your clients, and also free up your own time doing things that can bring in more revenue to your business, but also helping your clients add value to their own business as well.
Exactly that. Yeah. So yeah, win-win all around, which
Yeah.
is wonderful. Yeah. I mean, if anyone wants to get in touch with me, I'd be happy to chat. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I've also got a YouTube channel.
And so you can always reach out to her, and she's always open to giving you answers, engaging with you. So please go ahead and do that.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, it's been great. Thanks for inviting me in, Sushil.
Thank you very much, Mel, and I'm hoping that we can do some other podcasts as well later on. So
Yes.
thank you very much for this one.
No worries at all. Yeah. Have a great day. Thank you.